One of the reasons I still cherish a place like Studio 35 is because it reminds me of those small neighborhood theaters I grew up with in the mid-50s up in Cleveland, the kind of places that don't exist anymore. Single-screen theaters, locally owned, usually showing second-run films that drew completely from the local neighborhood. The kind of memory and nostalgia my kids will never have, but I still share. I can't swear that they were any better projection or sound-wise than the modern multiplexes are, but the sense of community spirit that you got whenever you came through the door was wonderful, and to have one of these still existing is almost miraculous in this day and age.
We had to have the right picture on the screen at the right time. The beer was fine, but we wasn't running a saloon. It was to help the sale of theater tickets, the food, everything here was to increase the sale of motion pictures. That was our main priority.
It's still a wonderful place to come to movies, and my wife and I will often wait until a movie comes here so we can come here to Studio 35 and see it. This is still a great theater and a great place to see a movie.
I think there was a lot more time and effort that went into actually making it a really unique experience for the viewer. To be able to, like I say, escape from whatever was happening outside those doors, come in, sit down, and relax and have a good time.
It's fun to bring people here that don't know it's here. It's a nice little surprise.
Well, this theater provided the venue for us to fall in love, and that was wonderful.
How it survived in an area with no parking, without 7 screens, without modern amenities, is truly amazing. But it always felt like it was the last of a real neighborhood theater. So I think it was a real community thing, and there was a community feeling to it. It was all, you could tell the audience was all pretty much the people from the neighborhood, a pretty diverse group, and everybody seemed to appreciate it.
Good memories and good times and a different way of life than we have today. And it was good. I feel that I grew up in a good time.
I think for me it's just a lot of great memories, fun memories. Getting introduced to movies that I probably wouldn't have seen in a regular theater, like Casablanca and the Marx Brothers. They ran things that were kind of off the wall and different.
There's nothing like Rocky here. I've been to other Rockies at other theaters, and it's nothing like it is here. They're all in multiplexes, and people aren't personable, and nobody knows your name, and I walk in and they know exactly what I drink and what I'd like to snack on before I even get into my dressing room and get changed. And you don't find that anywhere anymore. You don't find a single theater anymore. And if we didn't have the single theater here, we wouldn't have that, and that wouldn't make the Fishnet Mafia and the experience with Studio 35 what it is.
I think that Studio 35 is really a big part of the Columbus experience for me. Not actually having been raised in this area, it's really, my life in Columbus wouldn't be the same without Studio 35.
I hope that Studio 35 will always be here. I don't know if that'll happen, but it's just so special and has so much character. I think that a lot of people do know about it, and there's a lot of people that don't know about it that really should. It's just a very special place to me. It always will be.
Studio 35 is definitely like a big part of Clintonville, I think. And my husband and I didn't grow up here, but our kids, are growing up here, and I really like that this is part of their youth and their growing up and part of their neighborhood.
What I like most about the now Studio 35 is that it's home. It's where I grew up. I didn't always live here in my life, but when I came home, I didn't move far. I live now in North Clintonville, and we come here all the time still. It's home.
A lot of people in the 30s and 40s grew up in the movie theaters, going to the movies all the time, and certainly in my youth, we came to the studio all the time, and it was part of my life. And you got to see all the great movies and then all the not so great movies. And it just was a great place to be. And the friendliness of the Frank and the other people who worked here was wonderful. And there was a communal spirit at the time. Everybody shared. Some nights, you know, a little later in the evenings on weekends, they were sharing more than just good spirits, but it was a really good time.
I had a lot of memories about a wonderful childhood, and part of it was spending a few years growing up on weekends in this theater.
The difficulty in keeping a theater like this alive that most people who come to it don't realize is the fact that this puts such a strain. You can never make a whole lot of money in a place like this. The films get harder and harder to deal with. You don't have the clout of being part of a chain. So anybody that owns and runs a place like this is very rarely doing it as a financial career move. It almost always turns out to be sort of benefit to the community. This was true of the Strand in Delaware when a local family owned that for a while. It's been true for all the successive owners that have owned Studio 35. They don't do it to get rich, they do it to preserve a kind of cultural memory that wouldn't exist otherwise. And so, you know, all of us who enjoy the place, more power to them.
And theaters have become a way of life for me. It was what I did. It was my identity in life, so to speak. And that's why I feel so good about, from the Indianola to Marzetti's Studio 35 to the Studio 35. Here we are. We're still rolling along, and still gives me an opportunity to have a good time and be involved intimately with show business.
The majority of the people that came here had a good night, and we gave them a good show.
Been a big roller coaster, but I say has probably been the one physical thing, you know, like objects don't bring you joy in life and this kind of thing, but I have to tell you, this property, this business, and really what it is the people have really brought a lot of really happiness to me, and I love it.
Being an owner for a year, and even what's gone in that year, is that we're part of the community now, and we're able to do things that we've always wanted to do and own a business. I mean, that's hard to do. Sometimes it's not always just about making money, but it's about experiences for people.
I don't know, I just think of this as so much fun. And even though, you know, we get phone calls in the middle of the night, or, you know, some things don't go the way we think they should go or we want them to go, you know, we're always having such a good time, and I keep telling Eric that this is a journey for us, and I'm just really happy to be part of it.
Absolutely.